Hey guys, and welcome to game number 45 out of 100 of my Human vs. AI series, where I'm taking on the AI-powered Scrabble BestBot in a 100-game match. We're currently at 18 wins, 26 losses, so we are 8 games behind the bot, and hoping we can close out the first half of this series with a nice streak. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this game underway. I'm first, and, well, I've got a bunch of good bingo tiles. I have ERT, the P is pretty good too, but I've got 3 R's, unfortunately, which is certainly not a good thing. There are not a lot of words I can actually make here. I could play fret for 14. That's, I think, actually the longest word I can make, and it's definitely not worth it, keeping PRR. Much better off trading here. I think I'll trade either FRR or FRRP. It's kind of close between the two. I probably bingo a little bit more trading FRRP, but the nice thing about keeping the P is it's a little bit of an insurance policy, because if I don't bingo, at least it's still a scoring tile where I'll be able to have some options to hopefully score like 20 or 30, and I won't be forced to like fish again and score only a few points. So I think I'm going to keep the P. It's also not a bad bingo tile at all if I could draw 1 or 2 vowels. So let's do that. Well, I didn't draw any vowels, but I did get the blank, so that helps. If I get a vowel, I'll probably be bingoing here. I've got ridge top with an I or an O. I've got pargade with an A or an E. So A, E, I, O all will give me bingos at the minimum, and there certainly may be other 8s as well that I haven't spotted yet. Anything with a U? Okay, well, I got an O and an I, so I certainly can play ridge top, but I just want to make sure I'm not missing maybe something through the Y or even the H, like almost plighted. But doesn't quite work because I have an R. Graph? No, I don't think so. How about through that Y? It's a little clunky, so probably not. Yeah, I think ridgetop is probably... Or there's also portaged, actually, through this O. That's probably a few more points, right? Yeah, because portaged gets the D on the triple letter, whereas ridgetop only puts 1-point tiles on the triple letter. So that's 67. Ridgetop is 65. I don't see a compelling reason not to just take the extra couple of points and play portaged. I guess it does give this A back on the double-double line instead of a G, which is slightly easier to use, but it also doesn't create the ridgetop's hook, which could be annoying. So I'll go ahead and play portaged. I think that's perfectly fine. Alright, I get 3 E's, so not a great draw, but I have some plays here. I can play humble from this H for 26, keeping EE. I can also play the gum for 26, keeping EEL, which is a little bit better just to keep the one consonant to offset the vowels. Okay, so he plays O, and wow, so this is definitely opening a spot here for me, but what can I actually do? B. I don't want to play B because that takes a lot of backhooks. If he has an R for beer or something like that, amongst many other things, he's going to score a lot. It feels like I ought to have a 4-letter word here that would get me to the triple and score a lot. Like if this were a word, that would be 46 points. B-E-L something? Wow, I don't think I actually can go there, amazingly. Umble is also playable, but again, it takes an S. I don't really want to do that. I feel like I should... Wow, so it's an interesting question now. Do I want to block this spot? I mean, I can just play something like lube, 24 points, keeps EEM, which is a pretty reasonable leave. Yeah, I probably should just do that. I mean, I could also, I guess, still play humble. I kind of like keeping the M, though. Again, it's a consonant to offset the vowels, and it's also a scoring tile. There is this hook now for O'd and O's that's still there. I'd love to block that as well. I don't think I want to play eel. That seems like way too big a point sacrifice. It also keeps the U, which is pretty clunky. I can't play emu, unfortunately. Dem is not a word. And I don't know what else I can really do there. I'm not going to play B. That's a terrible leave. Yeah, so I think it's either between lube and humble. There's also plays here like B. But I still keep the U, which I'd like to get rid of. And at least here I do block scoring plays down the H column. So I think I'm going to go ahead and play that. Probably about the best I can do. I draw a bunch of vowels. I do have an S at least. So I could potentially play with O's, but I don't have a lot of good plays there right now. Yeah, I mean, okay, and QI comes down very quickly by the bot. So the bot probably just drew the Q on its last turn. It feels like I should have something from this Q, because I have a U. But I just don't even know what I have. Queso is not good. It is actually getting added in the next update to the dictionary. So at some point, later in this series when the dictionary update comes into effect, which I believe is the end of February, queso might be a play, but not at this point. So I need to come up with another option. I have plays like metal here, but it still keeps 3 vowels. Not too thrilled about that. I'd love to play meow, M-E-O-U, or moo, M-O-U-E somewhere, but I just don't really see a place to play either of those, unfortunately. So it's not that easy a turn. And again, I just don't really have anything here. I mean, seam keeping E-O-U is pretty bad. Huh. Anything through this P? Poem still keeps 3 vowels. I guess I could do this, to be honest. I mean, it's not the craziest idea. There is an X still unseen, which is a little concerning. I mean, I doubt the bot... Well, okay, when the bot played O, right, it probably didn't have the X, or else it could have played Ox for a lot more points. I doubt it drew QX on its last pull. It would be very unlikely, and it probably didn't draw the X after QI. It's pretty unlikely to have the X. So it's not a huge concern, I don't think. And the leave is so much better than these other options. I feel like it's probably fine. I could also play meowed for 10. Also not a terrible idea. It doesn't give back the X spot. It does float some more bingo tiles, though, which I'm not a huge fan of. So I think I'm going to play... Oh, it also could potentially give me some scoring plays if I don't bingo, because I can put the M either above or below the U, maybe get like a 6 over here and score pretty well. So it's definitely a point sacrifice, at least on this turn, over some of my other options. But this is a very good leave. I have the O's hook still. I've got good potential to score or hopefully even bingo on my next turn. I think this is the right play. I'm going to go ahead and do it. It certainly worked out quite well. I've got... I think there are 4 7s on this rack. Mortise, Moisture, Trisome, and Erotism. So one of those ought to play, right? Actually, maybe not. Plays high both ways in QI for 31. So he actually takes the lead. Wait a minute. I have to be bingo. Okay, well, at least I have Moisture and Misroot through this U, right? So I can at least bingo here. Do I? Because O doesn't take an S. It only takes an X. What else do I have? Oh, hyoids. Maybe, let's see, atomize, amortize, or atomizer and amortize. Neither of those are going to fit. To this Y is just isometry, which doesn't work. Oh, no, it's just dosimeter as a 9 with a DE. That doesn't quite fit. So, I doubt I have a 10 or anything through EWE or GOB or HIE. Almost like isothermies or something, but not quite. Yeah, so I think it's just Moisture and Misroot as 7s here. Believe it or not. It doesn't make a huge difference, I don't think, which one I play. I mean, I guess what I would decide is which tiles I'm giving back to the bot to bingo with. MOIS versus MISR. The R is generally a little bit of a better floater than the O, so I'm going to play Moisture. It just makes it probably very, very marginally less likely that the bot will bingo back. So I think that's probably the best play. Yeah, there's nothing I can do above O either because I don't have a vowel that goes above the A. So yeah, all right, let's go ahead and do that. Another very nice draw over here now. I don't believe there are any 7s with this rack. Yes, sleeve is good, S-L-I-E-V-E, but I don't believe that takes a D, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think we can play sleeved like that. Almost dishevel through the H in high, but not quite. Another one, it feels like I should have a bingo, like diveless or something, but that's not good. Anything through this OM? I mean, I can also just play Revile, which does open a lot, but it scores almost 40 points, so that's probably worth it. How about, like, through this EWE? Like, something with viewed? No, it doesn't really work. Or you can even put a D here in addition to an S, but I don't think I have anything that plays for particularly much. So I might just have to play Revile. I mean, there's also now this Soba hook. Wow, there are S hooks galore here. So I could play Revile. I could also play Devil for 35. That might be better, actually. Because ES is a little bit of a better leave than DS. It sets up another S, which I don't mind doing. I mean, I have an S. I have to assume the bot is somewhat likely to have an S2 after a play like Oba. I could, if I really wanted to, I guess, just play Devils now and block it, but there's still O's and O'd. I don't know, I'm not up that much. I don't mind being a little bit aggressive here. Like, I've seen the bot play much more aggressively when it has a lead. I feel like I should probably be doing that a bit more rather than trying to play defense. Especially, I'm not up more than the bingo or anything. If the bot bingos, it's going to retake the lead. I think I like Devil. Setting up the S-hook for myself quite nicely there. No reason to just give it 2 E's to work with Revile. This doesn't give back quite as much. I'm not worried about the spot above the I. Yeah, there is an X unseen, but he can't play XI or XU, because IL and UL aren't words, and he can't play Axe or anything because there's no 2s with a V. He needs Xenon or something like that, which is extremely unlikely. So I think I'm going to go ahead and play Devil. Alright, I get the other V, which isn't ideal. I do have a nice play, though, here of Wave for 30, which keeps a fantastic leave of ERST, which will give me a great chance to bingo on my next turn. Other options. So there's still the Soba hook I need to continually watch out for. Wow, none for 8. So probably a tough draw for the bot, I'm going to guess. I mean, I think I should just play Wave. I could block Soba, but I don't have a lot I can do there. I don't think I have... I could play, I guess, Revets, keeping just a W. Wave, the leave is just so much better. And again, I'm going up 90. Like, if I can just bingo again, then I should pretty much put this game out of reach. I think with a leave as strong as this, I'm better off just being aggressive and trying to bingo again and cement my lead as opposed to playing defense. So let's do that. Alright, not the best draw here. Draw PRY. I guess at this point I probably would. Yeah, especially after a play like a dunk, which is extremely defensive, right? Because now, with no 2s with a C, it's actually really hard to bingo on the right side. Now I think is the time to block, because I can also play priors for 48. I think that's enough points. I go up 100, and now the board is starting to look pretty bad. Because if I play priors, the whole right side here is pretty much shut off, like I said, with that C. You could overlap none with, I mean, it's going to be very tough. You need to play, like, 7 right in this spot exactly, unless you had 2 S's somehow and ended something with Devils. You can play on row 5. There's still a few spots, but the Soba spot is now by far the most dangerous, whereas before there were a lot more spots. So I think at this point, also given I have a play now that scores so many points, it's the right time to make this decision and take out the spot. Oh, another blank. Okay, wow. Definitely drawing quite well this game. I should be able to bingo here, right? Yeah, Animato will play if it stays open. And that should just about lock this game up, I would have to imagine. Anything else if that gets blocked? There's certainly other 7s on this rack, at least I would imagine. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a Boatman, for instance. I don't think that'll play. Again, it's not that easy to bingo on this board. I can also just play Manta and save the blank and score 38. I'd be a little concerned, though. There's still 2 S's left and an X and a Z. I really don't want to allow something like refixes for over 100. So I'd prefer not to do that if I can help it. Of course, the ideal situation is just to bingo with Animato, which I'll be able to do. There is the Afros hook. I mean, I'm not going to sacrifice a ton of points to not bingo and block it, I don't think. It's just not worth it. I don't have a 7 with an S as a blank. Yeah, I mean, if I play Animato, I'm going up over 150. Even if the bot hits a 100-point bingo there, I should still be in very good shape. Like, it's just a way sounder play to do this, I think, and not worry too much about that spot. So let's do that. And yeah, if it stays open again, then I would 100% sacrifice some points to block. Because it's not like I'm going to be doing anything very exciting with this rack with 5 vowels anyway. It plays a Grafe. So yeah, I'm up 120 points. Like, now I'm thinking, okay, like, look at this pool. There's a J, a K, an X, and a Z. The only way I'm losing is if somehow he gets Agonizes or Jackets or something there. Like, there's no way he's going to win unless he gets a massive bingo. So at this point, it would be, I think, a little bit foolish not to block that. So I don't have a great way to do it by any means, but I'm going to definitely sacrifice some points and go out of my way to do it. The best equity play is probably something like Hooli, just dumping some vowels. But like I said, I could maybe in some situations lose the game if he gets a massive scoring bingo. And yeah, he can get a 50-point X-play or something on the top left, but I'm up 120. I can withstand that. The only thing I can't withstand is a huge bingo. So yeah, it's very hard for me to block. I might have to play something pretty embarrassingly short, like in, because I can't really play through this O. Playing through this R doesn't help me, right? Oilier is there, but Afros wouldn't be blocked. I can't really overlap much, and I would still be giving back another S hook. I guess I could play, yeah, because like Ion or something, but then the S hook still fits. Like I said, at this point, if I do this, I can't lose, right? I mean, I'm going up 128. There's basically nowhere to bingo. He's not going to end a word in SN, and he can't, even if he scores 40 points, I'll be fine. Yeah, this has to be the best play. I mean, again, it's a big equity sacrifice. Wow, I drew more vowels. Well, the good thing is now he's probably going to have a lot of consonant trouble. He could try to open up another S hook, which he doesn't even try to do. I mean, I'll just be able to block anything that he opens. And he does get down Taj for 32, so deficit is now under 100. I guess maybe I'll just play something here. Yeah, I guess I have Ghoulie. That's fine. 16 points, keeps IE. IE is actually a great leave here. Just all those consonants unseen. I could play Hooli for 2 more, but I mean, I don't really want to give him E to work with when all those consonants, especially the high pointers, are unseen. So yeah, Ghoulie looks quite good. I draw the Z. I left 1 in the bag too. I mean, not that I was honestly worried about the bot being going out on this board, but it's still nice just for insurance in case somehow there's a freak out bingo I missed. Well, it wouldn't be an out bingo, right? Because I leave 1 in the bag. So that's always good just for reassurance. And he's got ACGX, which is pretty clunky. I have a little time here, so I'll try to play a good endgame if I can. Obviously, I'm completely winning. So he's threatening Oxic through this O and I on the top left. That would be a nice play for him to probably guarantee an out in 2. Other than that, he doesn't have a lot of X plays, right? Because he can play, I mean, he can just drop the X right here. He can play Axe on the top right. But besides that, he doesn't have much. And both of these plays would leave him with CG, which is going to be pretty difficult to work with. So if I'm not going out in 2, I probably want to try to block Oxic so that he can't go out in 2 either. Now, if I have a good out in 2, then I probably don't have to worry too much about it, and I can just let him have Oxic. I wonder if I have like a setup or something. Like if I can play, I can't do something like this because he'll just play Axe. The idea would be setting up Zits. I bet there's something though. Like I'm curious to, like, no, this doesn't work either because I don't even know what I'm setting up, and he has Yuda. How about, like, no, I was gonna look at Tut, but I don't actually set anything else up. Huh. Yeah, it feels like it's very tempting. It feels like there's gotta be something. I guess I just don't have all that many long words with the Z here. Like, I don't think I have any 5s with the Z. Alright, so yeah, maybe there's no particularly good setup. What if I play Tet? No, that doesn't work either, setting up Zits because of Axe. Yeah, maybe it's not gonna really work. It's extremely tempting when you have a Z like this and your opponent doesn't have a good rack to try to set it up for a huge number of points, but sometimes it's just not really possible. So I could play Lutz, actually. I mean, this isn't bad because if he plays Oxic, I'm going to get Zits for a lot. It's very hard for him to block. I mean, this is not a bad play at all, actually. Although he'll still be able to go out in 2, and I won't have an out. I mean, I could play Lutz and Heist. At that point, I'm probably honestly better off, though, just playing something like Zit. Well, if he plays Za, then he's just going to get stuck with the X, so that's not good for him. I assume I'd be going out with ELST somewhere, right? I mean, there's gotta be somewhere. Maybe not? Huh. I don't actually know where I can go out with, assuming he plays Za. I guess I can play At and Tells. So maybe this is a little bit better. Still not particularly good, but I think it's a little bit better than Lutz. What else? I have this Z spot here, but that doesn't really do me much good. All right, yeah, I don't see all that much else here, so I think I'll just play Zit, and then he's presumably going to play Oxic, and then I'll just go out with Tells on the right and win this game. I think that's probably, if not my best endgame, pretty close to the best I'm going to do here. So let's do that. Yeah, Oxic does come down. Like I said, he had Za, but it would be much worse because he'd still get stuck with the X. And he has AG, so he'd be going out. I think my best play is just to go out with Tells and end this game. So, all right, that's going to be that. And we win 416 to 322. So a good win for us. Not a particularly stressful win. I certainly drew quite well that game. So yeah, no like super interesting decisions or stressful decisions at the end, which is good because I definitely needed a win. But hopefully there's still some stuff we can learn from this game. So let's go ahead and take a look. Hey guys, before I jump into the analysis, I wanted to remind you that I offer Scrabble lessons, and they can be a really fun and useful tool if you're a tournament or casual player looking to improve your game, or perhaps if you have a friend or family member who loves Scrabble and might be interested in learning more about what it's like to play at the competitive level. If you're interested, then please check out my website, which I've linked in the description below. Thanks for considering, guys, and now let's get back to the analysis. Alright, so going back to the beginning, yeah, trading looks good here again. I have Fret and Reft, but it's just not worth it for 14 points. PRR is so weak compared to PERT. This certainly worked out well. Yeah, Portage and Ridgetop were the only playable bingos. No huge reason to me not to just take the 2 extra points this early in the game. He plays O. Yeah, I saw Umble, but I mean, especially after a play like O, which strongly suggests an S, or at least a D and quite possibly an S, which it turns out he had. I certainly can't be making a play like this. If he has an S, he's going to play something with Umbles horizontally and score a mammoth number of points. So I certainly can't risk this. I saw all of these options. B for the same reason. No way can I possibly play that. It's between Humble and Lube. I think this is better just to keep the M. And he drew the Q, gets rid of it. And let's see here. Equity wants me to play Mouse, which, I don't know. This doesn't really seem prudent. It's only 22 points. I give back a lot of big plays on the triple. I get rid of my S. This is a bit down on equity. It's honestly not down that much, though. Like, there's a lot of plays ahead of it, but Mouse's equity is just over 25. This one's 20. It's only 5 points worse. I could play Motel or something, but I really hate keeping the U along with 3 vowels like that. Poem I also saw. It's not a terrible play by any means. I mean, it also sets up another S hook, which is nice. It's not a terrible play. I just so much prefer EMOS as a leaf to AEUS. Because, again, having the M is so nice since it's a good bingo tile, and it's also a scoring tile if I don't manage to draw bingo. So it can help bail me out of some clunky racks with 1-point tiles. Yep, Moisture looks good. That and this route are the only bingos. Oba comes down. All right, no bingos were playable here. I think Devil's the right play. Like I said, I saw Revile, but this gives a lot back to the bot to work with, much more than Devil. Sets up another S hook, so it's aggressive, but I have an ES in hand. Dreadful draw for the bot here. It kept cans, which is a nice leave, and drew 2 more N's and a U. A none looks kind of forced here. I mean, you hate to score 8 points when you're down this much, but you definitely don't want to get rid of your S with the Soba hook in this position. You really need to bingo ASAP. Yeah, Wave looks good. This leave is just way too strong not to take. And then, oh, I didn't actually think about just playing Perry here. That's interesting. I mean, yeah, this is fine too. Like it's only 4 fewer points. It's obviously better on equity. The S is worth way more than 4 points. I still think my play is fine though. Like I said, at this score, it is sacrificing a bit, but I'm going up 100 points. There's still 2 S's and a blank, an X, a Z, a J unseen. Taking out what's by far and away the most worrisome bingo line on the board has a lot of value, given I'll be taking a 100-point lead. So I do think this is fine. This is, if I needed a lot of spread for some reason in a tournament, I would certainly have gone for this, but I just sort of got very fixated on this. I didn't even really honestly look for this, because it's just a better play if I'm going purely for win percentage to play priors at this point. Takes out by far the biggest threat, and it's very hard to imagine losing this game. The bot played Afro. Yeah, that seems like a good play. I mean, you're down 100 on a dead board. You gotta take some chances. It's not that easy for me to block. And yeah, I decided to just bingo here, and thankfully the bot didn't have Jaegers or something for a lot of points. Yeah, obviously on my next turn, like I said, I made a gigantic equity sacrifice, like a 20-point equity sacrifice. Hooli or Ghoulie are far better on equity, but I just felt at this point, yeah, it's like a 22-point equity sacrifice. But I'm up 120 points. There's one bingo line on this board, right? Namely column O. hooking afros. And that bingo line, if he hits it, especially with one of the 3 high point tiles unseen, is going to score a lot of points. And I'm up 120 points. What's the one way I can lose this game? If he gets a bingo for a lot of points. So I stopped that from happening. I'm just not worried about 40, 50, even 60 point plays with a J, X, or Z on the left-hand side of the board. Because that'll get him closer, but he's not winning this game. There's literally nowhere to bingo after I play in. It just completely locks it up. And yeah, here at this point, just pretty routine. Ghoulie looks good. He plays Kins. Endgame, I think, was fine here. Says, oh, this keeps tilt, but I don't think I'm going to be going out with tilt on my next turn. Yeah, there just isn't a great way for me to score more points. So I think that's fine. Yeah, Lutz does set up Zitz, but lets him go out in 2 then with Oxic, and then he can play his AG off somewhere else. So I think my sequence is fine, unless I missed some sort of crazy setup that would have worked for the Z, which I didn't see. It's certainly possible that it was there, but like I said, I didn't see it if it did exist. But I didn't really need it, so all good here. And yeah, pretty clean game overall by me, I'd say. No obvious mistakes. Like I said, not the most interesting game probably strategically, but at least I got a routine win. I hope you guys still enjoyed it and maybe learned a few new words or got something out of it. But yeah, I think I'll leave it at that for this one. So once again, we pick up a very good win here. We improved to 19 and 26, so 7 games trailing the bot as we round out the first 50 games of the series. So I appreciate all the support so far, guys, and I will look forward to seeing you soon for game number 46. So thanks again, guys, and I will talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.